Ooh. I was going to get a paper agenda. I didn't print it. Don't have any paper or anything. Thank you. Use your fist. Yeah.
We've got a hammer.
Well, it's just the 11th. Well, it depends on what our date is. But it, I know,
Actually, my
we should at least have,
That's if we-
I mean, 'cause- yes, we should. And there's a whole bunch of dates coming up for, budget and that kind of stuff. We have lots of,
I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure it's 19.
I'll put it in my phone. Why, thank you.
Got to call the meeting of the Everett City Council order. It's Tuesday, July 11th, 2023, the time is 6:30. Everybody please rise from almost silent.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda is citizens' comments. So we're going to go ahead and start that. Mindy, go ahead. You got something you got to read?
Okay, at this time, any person who desires to speak on any item posted on the agenda or any person with business before the city council not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the city council, provided that a speaker's request form has been completed and provided to the city secretary prior to the start of the meeting. Speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Excuse me. Unless otherwise granted by the mayor, the city council cannot respond to any matters listed on the agenda until scheduled at the future meeting. Please direct all comments to the council. Proper respect, decorum, and conduct shall prevail at this time. Internet, slanderous, or personal attacks are strictly prohibited. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stopping of feet, applauding, whistles, yells, and any type of disruptive behavior are prohibited, and violators may be removed. First one is Crystal.
Hi, my name is Crystal and I am coming to speak on behalf of the library. I have been coming to the library for the past 3 years, but also my mother has been here for over 25 years and I grew up here and my children grew up here. And we all have attended the library. My daughter is homeschooled and I use the library resources for a lot of her library needs and for her schooling because she doesn't, and to also socialize with other children. A lot of the times we have to walk to the library because I do not have a form of transportation to get us there and we have to walk back. And we do walk back with a lot of library books or movies, you know, she loves going there and that's her favorite place to go. I do know that the library is a part of our history and it has been a part of my children's history. They're grown up and they have children. I have my 6th grandbaby on the way now. And I would love for the library to stay a part of Everman history. All I can see is, Officer Alejandro is looking down at the library and I can just imagine what he would see knowing that they're taking this away from our community because we need this part for our children. I work with a lot of children that come to my home and I speak with them and they go to the library. And if we take it to Forest Hill. I mean, that's just so far for us to walk, and there's no way for us to walk. There's no sidewalks. There's nowhere safe for us to be able to come and go safely. Not only that, you know, nobody from Everman, I don't believe that they would go this far just to go to Forest Hill Library to get the needs for their education. And I also do believe that maybe if we make the library more inviting for the community, maybe that we get more people coming into the library. The library looks kind of police-ish, schoolish, you know. Anyways, I just want to say that my daughter and my family and the history of the neighborhood and the community and everyone. I know that my church also, the children from there also go there, and they also every summer for the summer program, reading program, that they're there listening to stories and socializing. You know, some children don't have a place to go, and this is where they can go to in the summer to get out the heat. Because everyone doesn't have much as it is already anyways. I'd like for us to at least have something that we could keep forever, because it is a part of history. It is a part of our community. It should be marked as a historical site, for it never should be teared down or taken away from the community. Anyways, that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Next, we have Vicky Garza.
You're never too old, too wacky, too wild to pick up a book and read to a child. Reading is not only for children or the extremely intelligent. Anyone who wants to read can read. There are so many options out there, whether you're a sci-fi nerd or a comedy lover. Pay a visit to your local library and find the right book for you. There are no excuses for not reading a book, none at all. That quote was from Dr. Seuss. How many of our kids know Dr. Seuss? I am very excited and proud to be here and to see the support that we have for the library. Everman is a city located in Tarrant County, Texas, with a 2023 population of 5,920. It is the 337th largest city in Texas. Everman is currently declining at a rate of negative 1.22% annually, and its population has decreased by negative 3.61% since the most recent census, which recorded a population of 6,142 in 2020. This information is for our city and our residents. Please keep our library open, not just for our community, but our families, our future, as it was stated beforehand. This should be a historical society. It also houses the historical side of Everman, Texas. So if this library is closed, what happens to the historical side that we have connected to the library? I have been a resident for 32 years, raised 2 kids here. I remember when it was in a mobile home years ago, and we built, the city built this over 30 years ago. So please, if we can, let's keep this open. Let's leave this for our community, for our families, for our children, and also for our future generations, because without books, where will we be? We do not have any type of form of transportation in our city to house anyone to go to Forest Hill. I love our neighbors, as we should. Forest Hill is great. Nothing against them, but please, let's keep this in our city, our great city of Everman. Thank you.
Next, we have Doreen Sills.
Good evening. Thank y'all for letting me speak. I'm Doreen Seals. I have lived in Everman for 18 years, and before that, my parents have lived here since the 70s. My stepfather built the first 8 bookcases that went into the library in 1986. My parents have been friends of the library for many, many years, and of course, they're gone now. I am the bad guy. I say we close the library, we use Forest Hill. I think financially for the city, there are a lot of other places that the money needs to be spent, like roads. And the sidewalks would be great for in another part of town. I don't want one in my house, but I just think financially, from what I heard at the other city council meeting, it just makes better sense to spend the money elsewhere. And thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Next, we have a Richard Garcia.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Normally I don't, I've been coming for the last couple of years or so to every meeting. And normally I just sit and watch and listen, learn. But for today, I thought that I'd give my 2 cents on just my humble opinion, right, on what I think about our library. I believe that regardless of what council decides tonight, this is an opportunity for new beginnings, right? Either way that it goes, we have an opportunity in many ways, right? Because when we're thinking about closing the library, we're talking about both people and property. And I think what I've listened to last council meeting and today, most people have referenced the property. And I think that the property itself isn't the issue at hand, right? The financials to keep up the library is not to pay a mortgage or something, it's to keep up the operations, which requires the people. So we're not trying to remove the people, we're trying to repurpose the people in the situation. Now, I think what has a lot of importance and what I've listened to our citizens from my point of view is speak a lot about the property itself. And that's where I think we have a really unique opportunity to really create something that, because some people said even we love the library, but it's possibly not the most inviting sometimes. And so we have this opportunity to make the library more of a sort of a community center, right? Somewhere where we can still gather but we won't have to spend, a lot of money to keep up its operations, to stay legal in the state of Texas, right? And this could involve quite a few things. Obviously, we're having conversations with the Boys and Girls Club, right? And they're looking they're ready to have things here for our kids. And with the community committee that was formed here a couple of months ago, Matt Sinclair, they said, they're looking for a space. That's all they need. And I believe that could be that space, right? So I believe that the point of we're not getting rid of the building. I don't think we would demolish it. It's just the financial aspects of that. And for the personnel in there, they would obviously be kind of repositioned, right, in City Hall where they're really needed. Because I see it from my point of view. I'm a business owner here, and I see the different departments. They're really, it's a lot of work for them. And yes, the population has declined in the last couple of years, but I think as we'll see in the next couple of more, the population will spike. And that's going to be a lot of work for City Hall. And that's why they need help. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Mary Nataros.
As you all know me, my name is Mary Nateros. And the city of Everman City Council, I continue to support in the closure of the library due to the fact that I've been there 5 years and I'm the only one there that came 5 years ago. And having observed many things that really were, when Billy came, we really tried to do something different. We tried many things and it just didn't happen. People just didn't come in. When children come during the reading program, it's wonderful. But in order for them to come, they have to come from the churches where they're already doing a Bible school day or something like that. So they're brought over to the library. Nobody really comes on their own, like from home, parent bringing child from home to the library. That's not the way it happens. And that's the way it's supposed to happen. So in what I've observed, I really believe that it should be closed. And yes, ladies, those of you that, and gentlemen that are for the library that wanted to stay, I sympathize with you. And I myself am a lover of books. Since a very young girl of 9 years old, I've used to read very difficult books with a dictionary at my side just to look up words to, there were books in philosophy, which I didn't have one bit of understanding. But what I'm saying, my parents allowed us to and helped us to get to the library, but I don't really see that anymore. Then as you get older, you go on to high school, you see kids, the young kids going to the library, doing their homework. That doesn't happen anymore. I have yet to see a student at the library studying, maybe one or two in the past, 5 years. So I really believe that there's other ways that we can gear our energy to come up with something else, because the latest technology now is the computers, the phones, and children are not going to get away from that anymore. They're too much, they have been ingrained in it and they're there. So I think it's time to close it and gear our efforts and the fundings towards a different direction to where we can reach the hearts and minds of our children. So thank you.
Next, we have Janine Baxter.
Hello. My family and I moved to Everman on January the 26th, 1968. And the reason I remember that date is because that was our wedding anniversary and we both forgot it that day. But when we first moved to Everman, the library was in this little tiny building on Enon. And I have one of the old library shelves, and in my home, but all the books were donated, all the workers were volunteer, and it was a busy little place. And I understand that it's not a busy place so much anymore, but I see on the agenda here that the City of Forest Hill City Council has to approve this consolidation. And if you lived in Everman for very long, you know that the City of Forest Hill City Council from year to year has changes, flip-flops, and you may be going, if you vote to consolidate, you may be going down a rabbit hole without a way out, because they may flip-flop and here will be without a library, without anything. I still think there's some things we can try. When they send the telephone messages out to the citizens, they could each time say, remember the library, the hours are, and give them the hours of the library. And then also, I think maybe we could start a book club, a monthly book club. to meet for adults. I know I'm in one and I go to Burleson Library to meet there, but I'd be glad to be in another book club. But I just think, you know, there's ways that we can work to improve participation at the library. And how many on the city council have library cards and utilize the library? You don't have to answer, but you know, if you don't, maybe you should get a library card and go to the library. There's lots of good books there. And I thank you so much.
That concludes the citizen comments.
This next item is discussion items, item A, review and reminder of budget workshop calendar.
Consent.
What's that?
Consent agenda. Consent agenda.
There's not a consent agenda.
There is number 5. Number 5.
You're looking at the old version, sir.
Attendance there. Number 5, consent agenda.
I ain't seen this one. Okay, next item, consent agenda, item A, financials for May. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the financials for the month of May. Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion?
I had brought up previously, when would the financial transparency be back online? Because that's the only way to view what is actually being spent and to who's being paid.
The transparency site is no longer in existence. We have a new cloud-based system that everyone has access to, and we need to set up a training time so you can come in and pull that information yourself. But for the time being, we have offered time and time again that anyone can contact me. I'm more than happy to pull any reports, I've given lots of information, far more than any other city, honestly. But I'm more than happy to run if it's a specific department or
Is that
actual.
available to the residents as well? Because that's what I'm referring to.
No, ma'am, it's for the council.
Okay, so so in other words, there's no way of a resident knowing how our tax dollars are being spent.
Well, not to drill down to the point of finding out every specific department that it's gone out to. No, ma'am.
If I can interject, I think as a part of the monthly financial reports that's provided to council, we do include a check register. We include every account balance, every department balance, and budget balance. And everything that's provided to you within the council packet is available to the public at any point in time. They certainly have full access to the exact same documents that you're looking at right now when you consider these for approval.
Correct, but viewing the register, for instance, it has like a community, commercial, bank account, $26,000. That's not telling me what that's been spent on.
No, that's correct. You don't have the breakdown. However, you have within the financials, you have on the expenditures, you have the department expenses for the month that shows if you're questioning the fire department, then you see exactly how much was spent for them for the month. But if there's something specific, I'm more than happy to run that actual report for you.
Also, Johnny, the transparency site that you're thinking about, I think that's part of a website that we don't use anymore. There's something wrong with that. And that's the reason we can't get to it. That's the reason it hadn't been working.
That's correct. It's part of the old STW system.
Yes.
We're now with OpenGov on the cloud-based system.
Okay, so a resident can go to the cloud and view what Out.
No, ma'am, not to,
That's what I'm referencing,
Okay.
because see, on the transparency, if a resident pulled that up, they could see what's been paid and where it went. And that's that's the reason why I asked. That's my comment.
I don't know if any city that allows or that really advertises or puts out or makes it available a transaction based like what we had with SCW. I don't know of any other city that does that. I think we do achieve a pretty high level of transparency with the citizens currently, based off all the same information that we share with you. Typically, the way that this most commonly operates is it's my responsibility as a city manager to administer the budget in which you approve. If somebody wants to drill down into specific budget questions, we are more than willing to do that. But that's not typically something that we address in a council meeting. All of our financial records are available for open records. They are eligible open record documents that the public can certainly request copies of, and we can make those available to them. But that's kind of one of the reasons why you employ me as a city manager, is to administer the budget in which you approve. I don't know how much more data we can share aside from what we're sharing currently.
And on the check register, it gives the amount and it gives who it's from. Like there's two $26,000 on this check register. One's from the Commerce Bank commercial cards.
So that's the one I'm referencing.
Okay, well, that sounds like the employees that have credit cards, if you will, go out and do their thing,
Yes,
buy
ma'am.
what they need and turn their receipts in. And the total of that for this last cycle was 26,500.
yes, ma'am.
And then down at the bottom, Doug Key's service, he's 26,775. That's our IT guy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, speaking of the IT guy, thank you, sir. So, I mean, the check register tells you where the stuff is going. And if you need more detail, then there's the lady right there to ask. Trying to help.
Any more questions or comments? Hold council.
Aye.
Testing. Place one,
Aye.
place two,
Aye.
place three,
No.
place four,
Aye.
place five,
Aye.
place six,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next item is discussion items. Item A, review and reminder of budget workshop calendar. That you, Susan?
Yeah, I have no changes. So unless there's something that needs to be addressed.
I put this on the agenda just because it's coming up next week. So I just wanted to remind council and make sure that everybody was aware of the dates and times for next week so that we could get the ball rolling on this. So just wanted to put that out there. And
We have two meetings scheduled for next week. One on Tuesday evening and one on Friday, beginning at 1:00.
So the one on the 18th, we're doing it, the first is 5 o'clock, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we do the 6:30, it's our regular council meeting.
That's correct.
And the 1 o'clock one is July 21st.
On Friday, yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I misunderstood what you said.
Mhm.
Okay, put it in your phone, folks. No excuses.
I did send out calendar invites as well to everybody. So you should have received a calendar invite.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay, so next item, consideration possible action. Item A, resolution number 2023-06-04. Resolution of the city of Redmond, Texas, permanently closing the Redmond Public Library and declaring certain city library property surplus and authorizing city manager to sell, trade, donate, and or dispose of it in accordance with state law and providing effective dates. Do you have a motion?
I move we approve resolution 2023-06-04 as read.
A second.
Motion made second for discussion. Full council.
Place one,
Aye.
place two,
Aye.
place three,
No.
place four,
Aye.
place five,
Aye.
place six,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Item B, resolution number 2023-06-05, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Everman, Texas, authorizing an interlocal cooperation agreement with the Forest Hill Public Library District regarding the provision of library services and providing an effective date. We entertain a motion.
I make the motion to approve resolution 2023-06-05 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes, on your, flyer that you have for, the hearing, the consolidation of the hearing, you state a youth activity center. When I mentioned earlier in the year regarding a, event sports center, you mentioned there would, be no employees or staff or supervision. What's changed with that?
What are you talking about, Johnny? I'm lost.
On one of the items that's listed on the consolidation public hearing, one of the items listed was a youth activity center.
Oh, so you're talking about the flyer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
A potential use of the building is what she's referring to.
Yes, yeah, that was one of the items that we listed on there as a potential use. It was something that we discussed. And whether that's through a specific partnership with Boys and Girls Club or another third-party organization, I mean, that would be entirely up to you as the council on how you would choose to move forward. It was not put there with the intent of having city staff operate that, but to provide a space, and this is the way it's worded on the advertisement, provide a space that could be utilized for other needs within the community, such as the youth activity center or other option that the city council may have the discretion to do. And the Boys and Girls Club has been the topic that we've discussed that with, utilizing a third-party company such as, or a third-party organization, such as Boys and Girls Club or YMCA or Big Brothers Big Sisters, any of those, utilizing one of those programs would not require staffing from the city to operate. We would just enter into an interlocal agreement with that organization to be able to utilize this space.
Okay, also, you state regarding property taxes, our property taxes, when was the last time our property taxes were raised? Because I don't think that, not stating against, for or against, but to bring up the property tax rate. I'm trying to see, why would you say it wouldn't require an increase?
It would not require it. So the property tax rate was last raised with the passing of the 2020 certificate of obligation bond. So the last debt we took out, there was a tax rate increase. Now it was below the increase required for voter approval. So it was not taken to the voters, but there was an increase in the tax rate. This past year, the city council elected to lower the tax rate by 3 cents, which brought us down to what we're currently at, which is at $1.11. We are the highest within Tarrant County. The next closest runner-up to us is our neighbor, the city of Forest Hill, and their tax rate is 88 cents per 100 valuation. They're 23 cents lower than we are. We are the only municipality in Tarrant County over $1. In order to achieve the goal that council has set out for us to continue the trend that we started last year in trying to lower our tax rate annually going forward, we have got to try to find ways to improve our operations while also trying to cut cost where we can. So this is one of the very reasons why this library came up. That in addition to how do we improve our library operations and the services that we provide in the library without having to allocate additional general fund dollars, which would require a tax increase. And this was the solution that we were able to come up with partnering with Forest Hill to achieve that, and now reallocating staff positions within City Hall so we can improve City Hall services, improve library services, and still have an opportunity to perform a property tax rate reduction.
Okay, you also mentioned street improvements, stormwater improvements. Where have we normally been getting the funds for these items?
Currently, the city council has not allocated any general fund dollars to street improvements or stormwater improvements in at least the last 5 to 10 years. That's one of the problems that we talked about last year during the budget process, is the city of Everman has historically relied solely upon the street improvement tax fund to do all street repairs and street reconstruction. That fund only accumulates about $90,000 a year in sales tax. That's not enough of a contribution for us to go out and do the repairs that need to be done on the streets. So we have got to find additional funding to supplement that, and it's got to come from general fund to do that. Same thing with stormwater. Stormwater has been a big issue when you think about all the flooding and the drainage studies and things that are going on now. We have got to allocate funding towards creek cleanouts and stormwater improvements and drainage systems. We don't currently allocate or have allocated any funding towards that, aside from grant funding or funding that we get from Tarrant County HUD.
When would be the effective date for the closure?
I'm sorry, ma'am, the computer broke up on you.
1 October,
October 1st.
yes.
Any other questions, comments? Poll the council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next item, resolution number 2023-07-01. A resolution of the city council of the city of Forest Hill, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an interlocal agreement by and between the city of Forest Hill, Texas and the city of Everman, Texas for animal control officer services, authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement, providing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
Mayor, when you entertain a motion, can we just get a correction? That is a typo. It should say
Okay.
city of Everman on that first one.
Okay, that's what I thought. So
Yes, sir.
don't need to reread that.
No, you might as well, just so it's clear.
Okay. Okay, resolution number 2023-07-01, a resolution of the city council of the city of Everman, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an interlocal agreement by and between the city of Forest Hill, Texas and the city of Everman, Texas for animal control officer services, authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement, providing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. Now I'll entertain a motion.
I make the motion to approve resolution 2023-07-01.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes, on page 2, where it's the daily patrol service charges, it's July 12th through September 30th.
That would be just to finish out the current year, right?
Yes, that is correct. This is a temporary agreement to get us through the rest of the fiscal year. We will look to execute a different agreement prior to the start of the next fiscal year, where the city of Forest Hill would compensate the city of Everman for 2 full-time positions, not just 1, giving us a total of 3 animal control officers and a full-time kennel technician. So this is just to get us through the next few months.
Okay, so will those employees be full-time employees for the city of Everman?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Will any other cities be added?
Hard to say. I think with the capacity at our shelter, it's going to be difficult to take on any additional cities right now. We have had some preliminary discussion about potentially building a new animal shelter with a larger capacity if we're able to reach an agreement here. But that's still a little ways down the road. I think if we were able to achieve that, build a new shelter with larger capacity, then certainly we would be open to a larger partnership because these partnerships save money, improve operations for all parties involved, just like it has with dispatch services. So.
Any other questions or comments?
Can you get a motion to amend it as well?
Okay,
Amend the typo correction.
let's see. Judy, you made the motion. Do you want to make the amendment? Just state the city of Everman instead of, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, just correct the typo.
Okay. Okay, so what do you want me to say? I might be,
Does she need to do it since she made the motion?
Somebody else can do it.
You want to do it, Susan?
I mean,
Or you can do it, but we just say I
but
make an
mine
amendment.
read what, like you said. On here.
Right here, here's what he's talking about.
Oh,
That it needs to be Everman there.
okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve resolution. Amend resolution 2023-07-01 to read as a resolution of the City Council of the City of Everman, Texas, approving the terms and conditions and an interlocal agreement by and between the City of Forest Hill, Texas, and the City of Everman, Texas, for animal control officer services, authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement, providing a threat severity ability, that word, clause, and providing for an effective date.
Second,
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
good job.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you poll the council?
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item, resolution number 2023-07-02, a resolution of the city council of the city of Everman, Texas, authorizing a school resource officer in a local agreement to the Everman Independent School District and providing an effective. Motion.
I move to approve resolution 2023-07-02 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
On the agreement on page 1, the interlocal agreement, it states that dedicated full-time telecommunication dispatcher and 12 school resource officers. How many officers does the city of Everman have?
Yes, ma'am. So this is a drastically different agreement than previous. The Texas legislature recently passed House Bill 3. House Bill 3 was a pretty wide sweeping and wide ranging and very broad bill that really affected school districts, their funding, as well as their security. It added a requirement for there to be an armed security officer on every single campus to include elementary schools. All of this obviously following the Uvalde incident. The school district had a couple of different options, and in discussing this with the superintendent, has elected to utilize peace officers rather than the Guardian program or one of the others. And this proposal right here that's before you tonight is going before the school board on the 17th for their consideration as well. So in discussing this, there would be a total of 12 school resource officers. 3 of those officers would be assigned at the high school and 1 officer on every other campus within the district. When you have 12 officers within one division, that is a lot of officers and puts a pretty large strain on the communication system. And I expressed that to the district and said to have 12 officers on duty at a time in a specific division, that's going to require a dedicated dispatcher. They agreed. So that has been written into this agreement as well. So the school district will be fully paying for the salaries, equipment, vehicles, everything associated with the 13 full-time employees, the 12 officers, and the full-time dispatcher. And that comes out to an annual contract price of 1.3, almost $1.4 million. That will be billed out monthly as it's listed in here. One other difference in this agreement from prior agreements is it wouldn't be fair for the city of Everman to assess those fees until we were able to fill those positions, because it may take, well, I know it's going to take me a little time to get 6 new officers in. So there is a clause in here where for each month that we have a position that's vacant, we will deduct, I believe it's $8,969.67 a month from the monthly invoice. Excuse me. So this will give our department a total of 25 officers, 12 of which will serve within the school resource division, the remaining officers serving within patrol, CID, and administration.
Okay, so how many did you say would be on duty during the week?
So
You said 24 in total and 12 at the school?
No. So this will give me a total of 25 full-time employees within the police department. The school resource division will have 12 officers on duty every day that school's in session. I will have 2 officers on duty in patrol, just like what we always have, 24/7 plus administration. So on a weekday, there will be 17 officers on duty during the weekday. Weekends, it'll be drastically different, as we will have patrol officers only on weekends, maybe CID and code enforcement here and there as well. But total, we will have 25 officers total employed by the city.
Okay, and during the summer or the time when school is not in session, what will those the officers be doing?
Sure, very good question. So these officers will be reallocated to other divisions and other tasks when school's not in session. There is also a significant training requirement that's been added on to school resource officers. They have to complete annually. They have to complete active shooter training and additional training above and beyond what patrol officers have to complete. So they'll spend some more time in in-service training. We are also going to be engaging with the district to send a couple of these officers to instructor school. We want to provide a higher level of service with our kids and be able to implement programs that are geared towards anti-gun and anti-gang, involving those officers to try to build and bridge those relationships there, get our officers more involved with these kids at a younger age. And I'm actually going to talk about this here in a little bit as part of the city manager report. One example of that is starting next week, we're trying to partner with Forest Hill Police to do a first responder basketball program where in the evenings, one night a week, we just go to the high school and we play basketball with the kids. Those kinds of activities require these officers to really invest in these programs. But these officers are not going to be just sitting around when school's not in session. They will have other tasks to complete. They will also be able to be utilized when we have patrol officers on vacation or out sick or on some sort of leave, which should help alleviate some of our overtime problems that we've been seeing once we get it fully staffed.
You mentioned the automobiles. Will we be entering another agreement with Enterprise?
We won't be entering, it'll be the same agreement, but we will be adding vehicles to that agreement. Yes.
And when does the previous agreement expire?
It's a continual agreement until we decide to withdraw.
Okay, so you can just add more cars or trucks onto it, the contract?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. So, and we look at this during budget. We'll take a look and see what our anticipated expenditure is going to be for the lease payments. And we're working on that right now. Chief Watley is actually our primary contact and been coordinating a lot with Enterprise on making sure we have those numbers. So we should have all of that as a part of the budget process with you. But each police vehicle will cost, for the school resource division, should cost us less than $1,000 a month, which that's built into the cost in which we bill the district.
I've got a question. At the bottom of this resolution, it says passed and approved this 18th day of July. Are we postponing this a week or something?
No, ma'am, we can The mayor can just,
Make a pencil change.
yeah, we can change that.
That's all I had.
You're easy.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Place one,
Aye.
place two,
Aye.
place three,
Aye.
place four,
Aye.
place five,
Aye.
place six.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Executive session, we have none. Next item is city manager's report.
As you currently know, I'm in Corpus Christi right now at the biannual chief training. I've been doing some work while we're down here, including finalizing a partnership agreement with Forest Hill Police. So we're going to be announcing, hopefully here in the next day or two, a program where our officers will be engaged with Forest Hill police officers to just offer some youth basketball at the high school 1 night a week for the rest of the summer, just to try to get some youth engagement going on. This is all part of the kind of the anti-crime program that we've been looking forward towards. It's going to be serving as kind of a pilot program. This has been a topic of discussion amongst the Community Safety Advisory Committee as well on how can we maybe improve some of our basketball programs and things in the city. So we're running this with a partnership with a gentleman out of Fort Worth who specializes in running these basketball programs. So we're going to run this for a few weeks and see what the turnout is and see how it goes. And I'll be happy to report that back to you. Other than that, Mayor, I don't have anything else.
Okay, next time is mayor's report. The only thing I have is, I'm on the board of managers for the Tarrant County 911, and TxDOT is pushing us out of our current building. So, we've located a building up in Haslett that we've already purchased or in the in the process of purchasing for $10.5 million. Gonna be a longer drive for me to make those meetings, but we're going from a 13,000 square foot building to 51,000 square feet. Plenty of room, you know, they're overcrowded where they are now, so
It's time to move.
yeah, it'll be a nice move, so
How are they gonna handle 911 services in the move?
well, they've got a plan in place for that, so they'll be able to move things off-site until they'll wait till they have it set up in the new facility before they move.
Okay.
And they like redundancy, so I'll make sure there's more than one system that works. We're still in negotiations with TxDOT to come up with that bottom dollar or top dollar they're gonna pay for the building. It is a 911 building. They kind of change the rules a little bit. The ball's in our court, so. Between that and with the next gen technology, we've already, let's see, 18. Got about $31 million to convert to next gen technology to allow people to text, send videos.
To the 911? Oh, wow.
And the problem we're having now with somebody called 911 and it's showing up in the city for work. Been one tower, he said shouldn't really be a lot of problem for that too. So. But with that being said, that is all I have. Item 723, and we are adjourned. Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
y'all. Good night.
Good questions, man.